Toda virada é um recomeço, um momento que nos lembra que nada vai ser igual, porque não importa o quão virado o mundo tá. Toda segunda-feira vira final de semana, todo agosto vira setembro e todo inverno vira primavera. É tempo de celebrar cada noite que vira dia, cada cicatriz que vira história, cada sonho que vira realidade. Primavera, verão Renner, virada dos sonhos.
Poder fazer escolhas significa conquistar um dos maiores desejos da humanidade, a independência. E o Sebrae abre as portas para pessoas que escolheram a independência e transformaram sonhos em projetos de vida, que ajudam a gerar empregos, desenvolver a sua comunidade e a transmitir a cultura empreendedora no país. Um lugar onde todos têm liberdade para escolher, inclusive escolher empreender. Sebrae, a força do empreendedor brasileiro.
Oi todos, meu nome é Jordana Guimarães e a gente hoje vai iniciar a 5ª edição do Brasil Eco Fashion Week 2021 com uma conversa que vai ser incrível. E só para me introduzir primeiro, meu nome é Jordana Guimarães, eu sou a cofundadora do Fashion Innovation, que é uma plataforma global, onde a gente foca em tecnologia, sustentabilidade e empreendedorismo no mundo da moda. E para a gente é muito importante, a gente sempre fala no Fashion Innovation que pessoas é a coisa mais importante que existe, porque atrás de qualquer tecnologia, de qualquer marca de moda, de qualquer companhia na moda, acaba sendo a pessoa aonde tudo surge e com colaboração é como o mundo da moda pode avançar para ser um mundo melhor. Então, eu estou super animada de introduzir essas duas pessoas maravilhosas, onde a gente vai conversar muito sobre digitalização towards sustainability, para sustentabilidade. Então, primeiro, eu adoraria, Paulo Salgado, se você poderia se introduzir, por favor.
Claro, olá. Hi, everyone. I also speak Portuguese, but I will follow the English. So, my name is Paulo Salgado. I'm based in Porto, in Portugal. I'm industrial engineer based with more than 18 years of experience managing operations on the shop floor, so learning and working with the people on the shop floor. And over the past 6 years, I start developing projects within luxury brands in France. In a period of my life, I spent 10 years in Paris, and that's where I start to touch the digital world at the first time. And with brands like Hermès and Dior, I was collaborating with them to set up the digital prototypes. And that's where I start to develop the beginning of my project, Samples, as the name says, is like reducing samples. So it's a pleasure to be here today, and let's continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to hear more about you and your work. So thank you for being here. Next, we're going to go to Brooke McGever at Unspun. I'd love for you to introduce yourself, Brooke.
very happy to be here and talking about this. Thanks for having me. Yeah, a little bit about me. I started with work in textiles and sustainability. I spent a lot of time in factories in Asia, working on sustainability impacts and collaboration projects. I also worked a bit with the US State Department in graduate school on like addressing with digital technology, how to identify and address social labor issues that are happening in the supply chain. So a lot of rethinking impact throughout my experience, which is about 10 years now. Not quite 18, but give me time. Yeah, and now I'm at Unspun, which we will get into later, but quite a radical project. And I've been there for over 3 years now.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So as you have heard from both of them, a lot of incredible work being done towards sustainability, which is, to me, the most important thing when we think of a better fashion industry for the future. So today we're going to be speaking on digitalization for 3D pilot garments and low waste modeling. So again, this is really important. Sustainability is something that's being talked about a lot, but unfortunately it's used more the word than action. And with Paulo and Brooke, there's definitely a lot of action being taken. So I'm super thrilled to learn today from these two individuals. So with that, we'll get started on the first round. And I know each of you will present something to the audience. So we could start with you, Paulo, and then we can go to Brooke if that works, and we can get started.
Okay, so let's do it. I'll share my screen. So here we are. So Samplus. Samplus is my recent project, and we are a digital service center operating for the textile and fashion industry. As the name says, Samplus, the goal is to reduce physical sampling during the process of designing, of digital product creation. So the main goal is, besides reducing waste, is to improve the process and to accelerate the speed to market for the new launches. So again, a small brief of what I am. I already told about that. So I'm an industrial engineer, and my last passion is like to optimize and to design a digital pipeline. I will come in more detail on this in the next slides, but the idea is like to produce digitally is not only to have a software or a computer. No, it's a connection of different moments, of different steps, as in the normal process of producing textiles or garments. So this is the main, and that is the main focus that I've been done over the past years, like to connect the best steps of each moment. So why Samplus? So right now the process of the actual process from the production from textile production, it doesn't evolve for a long time. So I think that the same way that they have been working for like 20 years from now is the same way, or that don't evolve too much. So it's a long process. It has a lot of physical sampling, lots of returns, logistics, and this is not like the way we believe that can be sustainable and efficient. That's why we said we are setting the industry standards to improve this process and to reduce physical sampling up to 70% of the physical prototypes that they are producing today. At the same time, this is a much more fastest process and efficient as a whole. So who we are? So we are a mix. Again, we're based in Portugal, And we combine a mix of different knowledges, both like 3D artists, textile designers, and industrial engineers. So with all of this knowledge combined, we aim to develop a pipeline that can be scalable, because doing 3D and producing 3D is not very hard, but scale 3D is really hard. So the idea is to combine all different visions and to share all the dimensions of this of the knowledge and the expertise of each member of the team, and to achieve a goal that solves a purpose in the industry. So again, we are based in the north of Portugal, in the very, like the north of Italy, a very huge cluster of textile industry, from material suppliers to producers. So our mission right now is exactly to evangelize those industries, from small, medium companies to big companies, to play and to start playing digitally, because this movement needs to be done as a whole, not only for a few companies that have the potential of producing digitally and to invest. So we believe, and regarding sustainability, that is the main topic of this session. Sustainability starts at the beginning of the process. When I say beginning of the process, is when we choose raw materials. So instead of sending back and forth materials, or having a lot of swatches in your room, we can replace this with digital catalogs. So based on that, the designers can be inspired for the collection they are developing. And this is without any movement, any transportation, just real data that can be updated on real time between suppliers and consumers or producers. So that's why we believe that one of the main parts of sustainability starts here and on the design process. And so this is not only because it's trendy working on 3D or doing 3D, it's because it's solving a problem and is improving the way that the relation that the customer and the supplier works. So having, for instance, thousands of materials that can be simulated on real time on your model, without wasting any single product, any single piece of material or energy, you can have insights of what the collection should be and what you want to be developing for the upcoming collections. So here is an example of a real a 3D render automatically generated for a system, and that has the quality and enough quality to take decisions of if it's going to be selling on the collection or not. So this is the basis, and this is why we believe that this process adds a lot of value on sustainability. Not only we are a lot of times we are worried about the tons of garments that are being through the landfills, but the process starts here. So that's where we need to start to be sustainable. How we can do this? So again, it's we need to scan materials, we need to measure properties, we need to have some technologies, and mix all the things together. We achieve to physical sampling. And this is a trend that has been more and more used among the brands. Especially, you have done some works and some projects together with Ribbon and other brands. So we are following this trend as a standard approach. Of course, as any challenge and as a new process has challenge, and becoming digitally and producing digitally is not only a question of technology. No, it's just one of the angles. but a mix of technology, process, and people. And especially the first or the last people are the most important thing to achieve this goal. And because the other technology and process can be managed, but we need to bring all the people together to understand and to make them understand why this is so important, and why not only for the process and for the revenue for the company, and especially for the world, because we are reducing 70% of the physical sampling that we need, and normally they are like products that ends in the garbage. So that's what we believe and what we are doing right now. So just to be more clear, and just to share an example of a quick example of a product, a digital product, and what can be managed and how can we manage this. So here it is a sample of a t-shirt, a polo, and the idea is that, like, the complexity of the modeling and all the technical parts, we stay with us, and we just expose our customers to a simple and interface where they can easily change and create their own garment, and they own with their own prints and with everything. They can even add comments on the product, saying, okay, I want this, I want that. So this is the way, and just to showcase how digital sampling can work and can scale. So my presentation, it's finished. Sorry.
Thank you. That was amazing. And it's so interesting because you said a few things that I jotted down that I thought was really interesting, but designers can be inspired. I think that's the one thing that what I've noticed working with friends in technology, they don't realize that 3D can actually get them to be more creative in the process. And because they are creatives in the way they think, they have that fear of the technology. But once they start realizing that, I really think it will push them more to these types of technologies. And I love the name Sampless, so cool. Never, like, first time I'm learning of it, and I'm definitely going to let people know about it. So awesome presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brooke, super excited to see your presentation now, please.
All right. We'll record my screen. Also awesome. So fun to learn about that. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Great. Can we see it? Are we here? Okay, great. Yeah, so my name's Brooke. I'm a product lead at Unspun. Unspun is where technology and sustainability force their way into fashion and challenge a lot of systems that are currently running and presenting new solutions, which I'll get into. Okay, let's see. Awesome. So here are what we are focused on the most. So sizing guesswork. This is really interesting, especially because online shopping has boomed. You're seeing people buy, 3 or 4 sizes, knowing that they're going to return half. And there's this huge problem going on now where there's just a lot of garments that are going from store to customer back to the store, and can they be resold? Do they have to be marked down on price? So, like, as a customer, the guesswork of your size is very hard. And also, something that we think, because Unspun makes custom fit on demand clothing, starting with jeans. So we're really interested in this problem that the consumer has of finding things that actually fit them. Because when you think about how the fashion industry works, you pick one fit model that has almost impossible proportions, and then 99% of the world has to squeeze into that person's proportions. And is that fair? Is that right? Does that work for people? And we're seeing that the answer is no, it's not. And it's really hard to guess the size. This is creating a lot of excess inventory waste. This is this is really piling up garments that in some ways they can't be resold at full price, or they can't be on sale again, and they never actually make it to an end consumer. So that's one area that we want to tackle. Another is manual labor, because we do have an over reliance on how we produce, and in the samplist presentation, again, this is something that we're saying, like, we've been doing this forever, when are we gonna maybe have a different way to think about things where people can be paid appropriately, and there's not this race to the bottom for the cheapest labor that we can find, like, what are other systems that could work here, and how can automation be a help in this transition, this slow transition that the industry may take. And then another is waste production. So, as we heard before, there's sampling production, there is just overproduction, there's cutting waste. In general, the fashion industry is an extremely wasteful industry. And when you have brands that they're ordering more than they think will sell, and this is built into the business model, right? So there's not many businesses out there that allow all of this excess, all these products that may never make it to the end consumer, all these fabrics that fall off of the cutting room floor. Those are precious. So why are we wasting all that? That's also a question that we keep asking ourselves. So through thinking about these problems, we really are thinking through, how might we build on demand in a way to reduce waste and challenge the current systems that are running the fashion industry, and how might we use these tools and these processes to kind of build and inspire more of a circular industry. And Unspun we have a pretty big mission, which is our big 1% goal, and it's really large, but we really feel like we need to put a stake in the ground here, and we feel like this is important, and we're going to shoot for it. So every decision that we make as a company, we're always going back to this goal, and making sure that all of our decisions are steering us towards this. So that's kind of why we exist, and kind of what gets us out of bed in the morning to come to work. But how does it actually work, right? So right now, Unspun has its own brand, and then we also do collaboration. So right now, I'll kind of talk you through our own brand. So we have a custom-made jean company. And what you do is you build your pair of jeans. So you can choose the fabric, the thread color, the waist height, etc. And then there's we have customizers on our website. We are really, we have virtual appointments, we have in-store appointments. So you build the jean that you would like, and then you take a body scan. And right now we have an app as well. So you can even body scan from your phone. And then in the end, you get jeans that are actually made for you with no size, no number, and you've had to make no compromises through this. And another thing I'll say here, I can talk through it on this slide as well, is that once we have the body scan, we have an entire software team that makes fit algorithms. So as people come in, we're understanding, ages, shapes, sizes. What is academic fit? What is subjective fit? For people who live on one side of the country to another, how do people want to be perceived in their clothes? And then actually what is the scientific perfect fit, and like, how do those two come together? So we think about that a lot. So on the left here, you'll see kind of our customizer. Maybe a possible collaboration with Samplist can come out where we can make this even better. But you can kind of customize it here as well. And then we do have B2B projects where the body changes. So after you scan, it kind of matches you, and you can see a more realistic version of that as well. In the middle, you'll see the scan process. So this is our mobile scan process where you just turn, wear tight clothing and turn it in a circle for 10 seconds. And then we have everything we need. And then in the end, kind of like what I was saying about the B2B projects, what does it look like when you're actually able to see what you look like in these jeans, you know, not what this, you know, fit model looks like in these jeans. So we're trying to bring that to customers as well. So here is one of our co-branded partnerships, because we know that we can make impact as a brand, but we really want to be injected in kind of these fast fashion industries to see if we can push on these zero inventory models. So here we have a launch with H&M, and they have a store set up in Sweden where customers can come in, get scanned, and in 2 weeks they receive their perfect fitting pair of jeans. So that launch is ongoing. It's been really fun and exciting to see H&M being really excited about this, customers being really excited about this. So that's great. And then this is another collaboration that we've done, thinking about circularity, dissolvable thread, washing with less water. So we really want to make sure that we have a holistic look at how we produce. So this is the idea of, okay, so we can make things on demand, we can make things custom fit, but what's the next step? And the next step is kind of bringing that into a circular model. So we have removable buttons, dissolvable thread. We're working with recyclers so that when they get the jean, there's a scan code in it. They know the materials. They know how to get rid of the thread and the buttons so that then the materials can be used in another way. So that's kind of one collaboration project where we're thinking more about circularity. And then here is just a quick, I mean, we touched on this briefly, but the traditional fashion models, you put all of this, you know, work and energy and CO2 and resources into these, and it's amazing how much actually ends up in the landfill or incinerated. Whereas, you know, we're really looking at, you know, with the body scan, with custom production, with all of these circular collaborations, how can we start changing that? So that's what we think about here. Yeah, and that's Unspun. I also, at the end, I'll just say that, again, this isn't enough. So we actually have an entire hardware team. I don't have photos here. It's a little under wraps, but we are also weaving pants to shape without cutting waste. So eventually we'll be connecting our custom and on-demand fit to non-cutting waste straight from a 3D woven machine, and kind of thinking about that. And that's why you saw in the video, the pants are kind of, they're coming together and then they're being undone, because why Unspun is actually called Unspun is, and then what if we could take that pant and just take the thread and reuse the thread and not even downcycle. So we throw a lot of radical ideas out there. We love collaborations. We have our own brand. We work with other brands. So yeah, excited to talk more.
Amazing. Honestly, it still boggles my mind that there are companies such as Unspun and Sampless, even with like all of the companies that come across our platform that I haven't heard of, but I'm obsessed with now. So I will be actually a client of Unspun's. I want to make a pair of jeans. I don't know about all of you watching, but this is like incredible information. And when you started the presentation, I actually when I read the fashion supply chain is ridiculous and I saw the name Gucci on a garbage can, I was like, this is bold. This is really bold. But then with everything you're doing, and I have to say one more thing before we get on to the next round, which you guys are really getting my mind going, but everyone gives so much crap to H&M. Even actually recently they asked to speak at one of our events and someone is like, they're fast fashion. I'm like, but they're making so much effort towards sustainability. And you just showed another point, another case. So they are, we should be applauding all of these like things that they're doing because it really is going in the right direction. And it takes a long time. Sustainability is not just 1, 2, 3 for a company that big, but amazing. Both of you blew my mind. So now we're going to go to the second round. I'm going to give each of you 5 minutes to comment on each of these questions. And I'm going to jump back and forth between Brooke and Paulo to answer these. So we'll start with Paulo. Could you explain the idea of a digital pipeline for fashion design creation that Samplus offers?
Sure. So I'll just share my screen again to be easier to explain. So an industrial process is only an industrial process if it scales. I mean, if it works in the way that can be connected and linked from each of the stakeholders. So that's the challenge that we are now trying to build and to connect within Samplus, because, and as I told before, building 3D is not hard. Scaling is really hard because they need to be connected from each department, from each stakeholder, from the process, from raw materials to designer department to merchandising to commercial, and how they will work together using 3D and avoiding spam and back and forth of emails and so on. So this is the thing that we are working together with technology companies in the world to test and to prove in the industry that we can set a process, a pipeline, like a production pipeline as it works. So from the beginning, material libraries is our warehouse. This is where we need to have all our digital materials organized per collection, per year, whatever, for supplier, whatever we need to take a material or to use a material, we know where to search. And that is the first step of this pipeline, is libraries. So we need to scan materials, we need to organize, to manage all these parts. Then we come to the second step, and that can be the inspiration step. I mean, designers that are or buyers, they want to develop new collections and need to simulate materials on their models, can use those scanned materials and apply directly to a 3D model to have the first glance of how does it look in the specific, can be a shirt, can be a shoe, whatever you want to simulate. Once it is done, okay, now you need to produce your own models and your own jeans or your own products, and that is the creation step, where especially 3D artists and 3D designers, and this is undoubtedly the most newest part and complex part as well from the process, because it needs a more technical expertise for the people, for the team to develop. And once the modeling is done.
Sorry, Paulo. So sorry,
yeah.
Really quick. Can you make your screen bigger? The one you're showing
Sure.
right now? Can you make your screen bigger? Yep, there you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, too big enough.
Oh, too big. Thank you. Sorry. Just
sorry.
everyone can see it. Perfect.
Sure. So on once the creation phase, and then it's like the most intensive one, because it has the fitting, the simulations, and so on, we can move forward to the visualization step, and where, okay, all the team and all the teams can showcase and can collaborate and comment a specific product. Again, this is very easy to teach and to talk about, but the knowledge and the learning curve of this knowledge in the industry so far is really low. So that means that technology here and the industry is there. And that's why we act as the 3D enablers or digital enablers, because samplers want to be the midfielder, especially to take that complexity out of the process. So people who are creative designers, they know to be 3D designers right now. They just need to choose what they need for their collection. So that's why we took the expertise and the more technical part, especially at the creating stage, but all across the pipeline, just to let the teams and to work and to use the power of the digital without being concerned of developing. So this is our vision, and that we are connecting, and that we believe that the digital process will scale and will be adopted for the industry, because so far there are a lot of challenges to solve. And so basically, if we set a good flow, a good interaction between technology, people, and processes, we get our pipeline.
Amazing. Honestly, the one thing I always say, I feel like education is the #1 thing that's missing for people to really understand it in like simple terms. And honestly, you both are doing such a phenomenal job at that. Like, I think everybody watching this is really understanding it, and you guys are incredible. Thank you so much for walking us through that. So now, Brooke, could you speak more? I know you touched on this a little bit, but can you speak more about the concept of intentional manufacturing that Unspun proposes, and how do the jeans on-demand solution work? You're muted, Brooke.
That's good, actually, because I wasn't, I misspoke. Yeah, so when we think about intentional manufacturing, we think about everything having a purpose. So it sounds actually quite simple, but not making anything until it already has an owner or a home is extremely intentional. Another thing that we think a lot about is, once we have our hardware machines up and running, what does that look like, and can we have hubs across the world to where you walk in and purchase this? Can there be a machine in the back? Can there be a machine nearby? What happens when you're able to kind of localize these processes as well? So that's something that we're thinking about a lot. And then when you think about intentional as well, I mean, I'm a firm believer in this, and the custom fit is quite powerful, because this is the reason why we own 10 pairs of jeans and wear 2. So if you never bought those 8 pairs of jeans, like, that is quite impactful. So if you only bought what fit you and you loved, and you wore it into the ground, the intentionality there is extremely powerful. And all of these ideas, they sound just so simple, and when you hear them, you're like, of course, like, duh, that makes so much sense. But in this like really large industry that has all these old models and traditions, it's actually it's a new way to think.
Amazing. And actually, I'm definitely one that I have like 2 pairs of jeans in my closet, because I hate shopping for jeans. I feel like my body is so distorted when I shop for jeans. I'm like, okay, I have the worst, like nothing fits, like, so, and I'm sure so many people go through that. So it's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, actually, we chose jeans because, one, they are the most emotional item that you have in your closet, aside from a wedding dress for most people. 2, because at any point in time, over 50% of the population of the world is wearing denim. And 3, it's one of the most toxic and polluting garments that can be made. So with all of those things, it's very enticing to begin with denim.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I really, truthfully, as soon as we finish this call, I'm gonna get an unspun. Not even a joke.
Woohoo!
Amazing. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so Paulo, we're gonna go to the second question for you. You communicate that visualizing new designs in 3D brands can reduce dependency on physical samples by up to 75%. And that with a digital solution, the design process changes from design builds to design, analyze, test, build. That means an elimination of leftovers in different phases, right? Can you talk to us a little bit more about all of that?
Sure, exactly. So that's completely right. So the main difference here is that we only build when we are sure that what we want to build. That's why it's the main difference. So first we simulate. It's very similar to the process for producing cars, automotive industry, or architecture. So when you have a project, you simulate the project, you get real renders and real insights of that garment in this case, and before producing any and wasting any resource you need. So this is the main change on the process as is it right now. So first we simulate, we analyze, we correct, we recorrect, and then we build. So it's like the main changes, and that has that impact on that reduction of physical sampling. Why 75? Okay, at least you do one, do the last one, because the touch and feel, and okay, it needs to be a little more of confidence before launching production. But as the main thing, you can, with this process, reduce the need of producing before being sure that that's what we really want to do.
That's amazing. I think that is the future for fashion. And honestly, with that and on-demand manufacturing, which we see a lot of companies also doing for different brands, it just makes so much sense. Yeah, it's amazing.
At the end, all these tests are dummy products, so that they are even not wearable, some of them. So if it's completely waste. But again, it's a legacy, it's a culture that need to be changed, and it's not easy, but we are on the right way.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I do think we're going to see so many more changes. The next 5 years, I think, are going to be really interesting for the industry. But with people doing such work as yourselves, I think we're in good hands. So now, Brooke, this is your second question. Could you speak more about the idea of having size-free jeans? Do you happen to identify the jeans produced by the name of the future user? This idea is interesting since it also breaks a paradigm regarding pattern divergence and exclusion of different body sizes. So what are your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it goes back to these fit model proportions. I mean, I've talked with brands where, you know, they're just like, the shoulders are just 1 centimeter too wide. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, and they look for months in some points for this pivotal person, and then they'll ship samples to them across the world. And then it's kind of like I said, where 99, the rest of us that have smaller shoulders or bigger shoulders, or we're taller, or, you know, our proportions are different, we're squeezing into these things. And for jeans, as most of us know, that doesn't always feel good. You know, and you have that moment in the dressing room, and you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then there's sizes, right? You know, there's a very powerful picture where I think it's like, you know, 20 size 6s, and they're all, you know, it's like one's here, one's here, one's here. So it's also, you're just chasing these sizes that aren't actually, they're not the same across all of these brands. So that can also be very confusing for a consumer. So we're really excited about this idea of size-free jeans, but also we want to push that a little bit more. And we've also changed all of the language on our website to be genderless. So instead of a men's fit or a women's fit, We have masculine fits and feminine fits, but we have men ordering the feminine fits. We have many women ordering the masculine fits. And you're able on our customizer to change out the bodies. So really it's really for you. It doesn't matter, what style or what fit or what, color you want. It's whatever you like, they're made for you. And I really like that idea of not needing to label yourself in any sort of way. You don't need to put yourself in any sort of category. So I find that to be quite powerful. And then to your question on, the future user, we do actually put custom serial codes. And we used to put the full name, but I think we toned it down to just the serial codes in case they ever want to give their jeans away. But yeah, so everything's very custom, like the hang tag, there's like little written notes, there's serial codes on there, which is a combination of their name actually. So that's quite cool. So yeah, so we're trying to give all these like little touches as well to kind of bond the garment and the wearer in as many aspects as we can. Yeah,
that's amazing. Honestly, like everything you said, I'm sure so many people are listening to this right now and going, finally. Like, how many times have I gone in the store? I'm a size 6, and in that store I'm a 10. I'm like, nope, not buying it. There's no way I'm gonna wear a size 10.
And you feel like
because
what?
it's something mental. You're like, I'm not gonna wear a size 10. No way. Something is wrong with this garment. And you start to just go on this like mind craziness. Yeah, amazing. I love it. And I hope the future of fashion is that, because honestly, also the bonding with the clothes, I think people really want to feel connected to their purchase now. And it's such a great way to connect the person to the purchase. So really love it. So now we're going to go to the third round. And I'm going to open, let's see. Yeah, so you're each going to have 5 minutes again for these questions. Okay. So we're going to go Paula and then Paulo and then Brooke. So we're going to ask one for each of you and then we'll finish it up. So Paulo, which would be challenges and potentials to the behavioral transition that digitalization and virtualization brings in order for us to achieve its sustainability benefits?
Yeah, so as I told us, so that's a mix of different different movements that need to be done, need to happen for this to become a standard use of digitization. The first is like buyers, especially the buyers, they have the power of asking the suppliers on digitally on digital samples, for instance, or digital technology, because if they keep doing the same way and asking physical samples just for a question of be more comfortable, just to in case to have the product on hand, but for nothing, just to see, that is a really challenge, and one of the biggest challenges that need to be reset. I mean, the mindset of and the legacy of the process right now. So without that change of that mindset, of the culture of the industry, and again, especially the buyers, because they have more influences on the producers, they need to start become digitally thinkers and to adopt these kind of solutions, not only thinking about the process and what is more comfortable for them, but thinking about what they are doing for the world and also for the process. And so this must happen on this way. Other things like, okay, as ever, like new technologies, they always have a resistance at the beginning, of course. An example, like a few years ago, people were using Blackberries, and because they have the touch, the keyboard on the mobile, and then imagine Steve Jobs came and said, no, we don't need any keyboard. You can just tag on your screen. I don't know, it's not possible. We will keep the physical keyboard, because it's really functional. You need to have all the letters at our fingers. And the reason now is like BlackBerry don't exist anymore, and we don't live without our smartphone on a bigger and touchable screen. So this is the kind of thing that I believe that will happen on the fashion industry. So now it's hard to change the mindset and to believe that we will replace the traditional model. But once people start to see the potential, and when I mean the potential, is not only replacing samples. No, this is just one and first argument of being digitally. All the other, like marketing and showcase and sharing products with communities on social networks can be done without producing a single product, and just you have sure of the insight you have before producing your collection. So there is a huge potential on this, not only on the on the first step of the process that we are focused in on the sampling, but on the steps that come next in the pipeline. So that's it. Again, it's a mix of technology, processes, and culture that need to be set on the right balance and to overcome and to adopt this as a normal way of working.
I love it. And yeah, I mean, everything you said just makes so much sense. And again, I think I am seeing a lot of companies even collaborating on the 3D aspect and creating like, you know, these 3D kind of like collaborations and community and ecosystem around what it is that you do. So that was really fantastic. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And other thing, and it's like, okay, we have the industry, and so we need to convert the people who wants to take this lead. So we need to be close from them, to help them to take the step to adopt digital technology. So this is one thing. And in another way, we need to look at schools because so far there is no programs, not official programs on technical schools for fashion, for instance, that explain this process or this pipeline, how at least explain how does it works on a digital way. So, and this is one of our missions also within Samplers. So we are working with some schools trying to inject this knowledge and at least to create awareness for the young people, and even to become more attractive as a role and as a job. And so all things together will create the movement and the challenge, and then we can achieve all the benefits of being digitally and in the process.
I think I have a perfect person to introduce you to.
Thank you.
Someone actually who's doing a lot of education, because that's what's missing. And she's actually building this education platform online to be able to teach internally in companies things such as this and how to manage and how to use it. And yeah, this is like, and funny enough, I was on the phone with her this morning. So super amazing that you said that. And I think that's where we need to go. So incredible. Thank you so much, Paulo. Brooke, the last question for you. Could you explain a little more about how the unspun plant production process makes possible low waste garment production, which I feel like we touched on this, but if you can give kind of an overall.
Yeah, I mean, the zero inventory waste and custom made, we touched on that a lot, but actually when you're making custom made garments, you're still making cutting waste, and that can amount to a lot. So that's kind of where our hardware team came in and started working on this digital loom that has no seams. So, you know, you're making these leg shapes, but there's no inseam, there's no outseam. And it can grow and change shape based off your scans. So the scan goes into our algorithms and our fit algorithms, and then that will eventually connect with our hardware machine, and then they'll follow those parameters for the legs. So you won't get all that extra offcut. So we're really, really, really excited about that. Our really long-term vision, it's going to take us some time to get there, is also what does it look like if you can weave it, and then at the end of its life, unweave it, and you reuse that thread. So traditionally in the fashion industry, you know, you're taking jeans and you're shredding them. And that is considered downgrading because you're not using that material to its fullest potential in that form. You're actually downgrading it, so it's easier to be used again, but it loses some of that potential, right? So the idea of capturing that yarn at its full potential and reweaving with that is really intriguing to us. Again, it's kind of like our North Star long-term goal, but we're really trying to think about this all the way through. So eliminating kind of cutting waste is our next big battle here.
That's amazing. No, this was such an incredible conversation, and Brazil Eco Fashion Week 2021, 5th edition, such an important conversation. I couldn't think of two better suited people than both of you to really inspire the industry and inspire people towards sustainability and the future of that we all speak about. I don't like that future of, like, for me, it's now. Fashion is now, it's happening now. The things are there now for you to implement into the business models to make a better fashion industry moving forward. So it's now. And we see with the two of you and the work that you're doing, it really is time to make change. So with that, where can people find both of you? We could start with Paulo and then go to Brooke. So Paulo, where could people find you and find out more information?
So the easiest point is to check on our website, www.samplers.io, and then you have all the context there, and we'll be more than welcome to explain and to talk, and that's about digital transformation and about digitization of the fashion industry and to help people.
Awesome. And Brooke?
Yeah, I mean, you can just go on our website, unspun.io. My email is brooke@unspun.io, so that's pretty easy to remember. If you're really interested in going through the process, we have a beta list sign up where you can actually access our app and be one of the first users to customize, scan your body, and track your order through our app. So we're very excited about that. So if you want to be a new user and give us lots of feedback, we're always working on really exciting stuff, and yeah, excited for people to participate and give feedback and ask questions. So
that's amazing. And just a little plug, anybody Fash Innovation, so FASH innovation.nyc. We're a platform where we have had now 540 speakers in the last 3 years in tech and fashion. And we just speak about the future of fashion like we did today and so much more. So just definitely come into our platform, sign up, be a part of the community that we're building. This was amazing. So thank you both so much. I'm excited to continue the conversation with both of you. I would love to have both of you participate at our next events that we have, because this is just incredible. And thank you again for the whole team at Brasil Eco. This is such an incredible event, an incredible platform, and you're doing such incredible work to get the industry where it needs to be. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.